Asian cricket right now is a bit of a mess, except India. Think of it as a T20 space race. One program is launching rockets and the other are tinkering with propellers. If the T20 World Cup was played tomorrow, Pakistan would be equal fifth favourite at 12-1. Australia, England and South Africa are all way shorter than that. Sri Lanka and Afghanistan are around 25 to 30-1. India, quite obviously, would be favourites. They've got their shit together and the rest of Asia is really struggling. A while back, even though India were quality, they were with the pack. But since 2022, India has just kicked away, while the other Asian teams are just lost in the mess. We looked at the strike rate differential of every team by year, measuring how quick they scored compared to their opposition. And for a long time, there were better and worse teams, but everyone was within the margins. India has broken free, and the rest have ended up as par teams or even worse. Right now, India is playing a completely different game to everyone else. They're reaching for the moon, and the other teams are wondering if it's made of cheese. Cricket boards actually make watching their games almost impossible now. I spend almost as much time trying to find where I can view it as I do actually following the action. That is why I use NordVPN. They let me find all the cricket I want to watch while protecting me from the nasty side of the internet. Nord will free your cricket matches. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/good areas to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 additional months on top. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Watch every match with NordVPN. T20 is about batting, kind of even when it isn't. And that's where I started looking for the team with the most rocket fuel. I expected a slow and steady rise for most teams as cricket has hit harder, and I didn't really find that. If you look at Pakistan and Sri Lanka, you see that there is a slight upward curve lately, but both have been quicker in their past. Pakistan have had years where they've scored quickly, and Sri Lanka isn't that much faster now than they were a decade back. In 2010, if you look at the top 10 ranked T20 sides, the strike rate was 115. 4 years later, it had risen to 120. This year, it is 139. So there were times when these teams were ahead of the curve. Sri Lanka was striking 140 in 2018, and yet they haven't gone above 130 in the last 3 years, while the other side scoring rates have gone boom. Pakistan has been slightly quicker under Mike Hesson, but they're still not a fast scoring team. Under Jonathan Trott, Afghanistan has become anchory, looking for pass scores for their bowlers to defend. It is winning them games, but the days of them batting like a team of number 8s have passed. But Bangladesh has a nice curve here. A generation of nudgers have suddenly awoken, and they're actually scoring at more than 130 for the first time. Some of this is down to playing the Netherlands, but you look deeper and the truth is they are hitting more. Parvez Hussain Imon is a perfect example. He hasn't played much yet, and he only has 400 runs for Bangladesh. But of the players who have scored that many, he's their fastest scorer ever. And yet that number is 137, making him the only Bangladeshi batter to ever strike over 130. Compare that to India, who has gone at over 140 for the last 3 years, and are likely to do so again in 2025. Until 2021, they were not that much better than Pakistan. They always had them covered, but India were more of a batting team and Pakistan a bowling side. They were similar enough. And then in 2021, Pakistan were actually quicker. In fact, in that year and 2022, Pakistan had 2 great chances of winning the World Cup. They got done by Dew and a great partnership in the semis the first time and ran into England with Shaheen Sawney for the second. At that point, these teams were similar and Pakistan were better in World Cups. Since then, one is a rocket ship and the other a bottle rocket. And you might think that is unfair, but while the global strike rate has risen to 139, Pakistan have never cleared that. India have, away from home, over the last 3 years. So this isn't about making friendly pitches for themselves or a recent blip. However, India isn't dominating the world, although they're still up there, just under Australia in runs per over. Pakistan is the next best, which makes them 7th overall in this tournament. And all the other major Asian Cups are ranked below that. In terms of power, this could not be more of a list of haves and have-nots. In bowling, there is no clear standout. All teams have their moments, and here the runs per over suggests that most of bowling attacks have been hanging in there even as more runs have started to appear. A close look shows that for 2 years, the Bangladesh attack was one of the worst in the world. And they have managed to bring that back to par again. with extra seam options and spinners who allow for a strong fifth bowling with the batting. Whereas Afghanistan have remained incredibly similar all the way through. They have been a bowling side for more than a decade. Even Rashid Khan's form dipping hasn't changed that. The three teams that have won this event before are much closer in bowling, even if it hasn't always felt that way. Sri Lanka have started leaking runs since 2023, and so have Pakistan. India have managed to keep it low, but this year has been worse, albeit without Bumrah. But this does show that there isn't as much between them. The power with the bat is the main thing. In the last 3 years, India has played 4 more T20s than Bangladesh, but the Tigers have whacked 246 fewer sixes. It's like one team is using titanium bats and the other side has tinfoil. India have found a way to hit maximums that other Asian teams have not, which takes us back to our differential. We have every major Asian team at just about par, and India at plus 0.33 last year. That is almost all because of their strike rate. So for every ball batted and bowled in T20 cricket, India is winning the strike rate battle by 0.33 per delivery. They've conquered light speed and everyone else is in third gear. Through the early part of T20, Sri Lanka were consistently an incredible team. They could have won in 2009 or 2012 before finally raising the cup for 2014. Their best differential was that year at plus 0.15. Since then, they've only been plus twice. They are no longer in conversation as potential World Cup winners. But in 2022, they won the Asia Cup while it was a T20 tournament. That now feels like a galaxy far, far away. Afghanistan made the semi-finals of the last T20 World Cup, but still look a distance away from winning. Under Mr. Trott, they've lost their ability to win on both sides of the ball. Plus, playing fewer associate teams has deflated their numbers. They are always dangerous with their openers and bowling attack, but teams are planning for them better now. And they build around Ibrahim Zadran. In an age of men who clear the front leg, he's more of a Volvo station wagon than a starship. Bangladesh have managed to get above par for only the second time ever, and the fact that they're now rated at the same level as Afghanistan is also a big win. In 2018, we had them as 0.31 lower, but they're still just a part team. In T20 World Cups, you could argue Pakistan has been the better side over the journey, even if in bilaterals, India has consistently been the superior side. Pakistan went within a Misbah paddle, Mike Hussey intervention, Stoinis slog, and Shaheen's knee of a second title. India remained much better from series to series. But now India is becoming an incredible team, and everyone else in Asia is going nowhere. The gap between them and Pakistan feels huge right now. Someone recently asked who in the other Asian teams would get into the Indian squad. Peak Rashid Khan would, but maybe not right now. Omasai would be a good chance. Naveen Al-Haq, Patharana and Fazal Farooqi over Harshit Rana are fair calls, but maybe not automatic all the time. There are others that you could make some arguments for, like Hasaranga, just because he's a leggy who could slom, at least in theory. Even then, it would be hard to make the case he's getting in ahead of an Indian spinner. I mean, purely on paper, you would struggle to make a side to even be close to India from the rest of the teams combined. But tournament play can be weird, and perhaps crucially, low scoring. And knockout games do interesting things to players' psyches. India needs no reminding of how often they dominated bilaterals, only to fall when silverware was available. But based on any available metric, the Indian team should win the Asia Cup without any issues. Of course, you also could have said that about New Zealand's tour to India or the 2023 ODI World Cup final. One knockout game in this Asia Cup makes it even harder to pull off an upset though. What this graphic really shows is not just the relative qualities of the Asian teams right now, but more about their structure. The other sides are disorganized, out of date, and not ready for the modern T20 landscape. If they're going to catch up, they're going to have to do it as quickly as India scores. India may not romp this tournament or even win it, but in the T20 space race, India is playing a form of the game sent from the future. The rest of Asia are still testing prototypes on the runway while arguing about what wrench to use. It's jet fuel versus diesel. Are you as chronically online as Moses Enriquez? Then here's another video for you. Or if you also like books and stuff, you can buy my new one on the art of batting. If you loved this video, hit the bell icon to be notified for more.